Welcome, America. The other day I was talking about Iran's assassination attempts on Donald Trump, among others. But they're focused like a laser in Donald Trump. They've attempted it. They're going to continue to attempt it. Donald Trump and his staff were briefed on exactly what's going on by intelligence entities in our own country. And as I pointed out, that is an act of war. That is an act of war where another country is attempt to assassinate a former president who's now running for president again. That is an act of war, ladies and gentlemen. Does it sound like and seem like the Biden-Harris administration? Does it sound like and seem like they view this as an act of war when they transfer hundreds of billions of dollars to Iran? When they enable Iran to build up its war machine? When they enable Iran to build a nuclear weapon, for God's sakes? When they enable Iran to support the Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah against the state of Israel? Shouldn't we be helping the state of Israel? After all, they just knocked off 2 top Hezbollah murderers who killed hundreds of our Marines. Biden and Harris didn't do that. Netanyahu did that. They should be getting a thank you letter. In the meantime, Tom Cotton and Mitch McConnell have sent a public letter out going through, again, these critical military needs that the Biden-Harris administration are withholding from Israel, even mine finders. They buy these tractors, they militarize them so they can clear the fields, clear the roads of IEDs and other types of mines and so forth. Do you know our government is withholding them? Ladies and gentlemen, if you believe in supporting our ally, if you believe in fighting these terrorists, if you're concerned that they're coming to our country, and they're here. They attacked us on 9/11. If you're concerned about this, then you better damn well make sure in Pennsylvania and elsewhere that you are voting, and you are voting early. Meanwhile, they want to assassinate Donald Trump. So I posted the other day, as we talked about, that this is an act of war. And what should happen? What should happen? Well, what is Netanyahu doing? What should we do? We should decapitate Iran. The Islamo-Nazi who runs Iran should be taken out. Well, Mark, that'll be war. Folks, what the hell do you think's going on? They're trying to assassinate Donald Trump. The way you stop the Iranians is by stopping the Iranians. Reagan showed us how to do it. Trump showed us how to do it. Biden has unleashed terrorism in the Middle East against the Jews, against the Christians, against other Muslims, and against we, the American people. That's what they've done. Now, Donald Trump was in Mint Hill, North Carolina today, and he made a statement that I think is reflective of what I posted, as a matter of fact, and it's very, very important. The Iranians do not want Donald Trump as president. Why? Because he'll put an end to this. That's why. He'll put an end to it. He did before, and he'll do it again. And the Iranian people hate that government, too. 3/4 of them don't even support the government. And when they rose up during the Obama administration, Obama turned his back on them. And when they rose up during the Harris-Biden administration, again, they turned their back on them, too. They turned their back on them, too. No wonder you had scores of failed, long in the tooth, buffoonish bureaucrats in our national security culture sign a letter backing Kamala Harris for president. What a bunch of clowns. These are the people who are defunding the United States military. These are the people who are allowing other countries to become superpowers while we're lagging behind. Did you know, by the way, that Kamala Harris never voted for a single defense budget when she was a senator, Mr. Producer? Did you know that? I'm trying to remember. Have I mentioned that before? Well, I want to reiterate it, and I want to underscore she never supported a single pay increase for any of our heroes in military uniform. She voted against every single one of them. Meanwhile, she'll vote for trillions of dollars for New Green Deal, for left-wing organizations, for front groups, for everything else. But our military, she hates our military. She's a fraud and a phony and a fool. But here's Donald Trump in North Carolina today. Cut 16, go.
But if I were the president, I would inform the threatening country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens. We're going to blow it to smithereens.
Amen.
You can't do that. And there would be no more threats. There would be no more threats. But right now we don't have that leadership or the necessary people, the necessary leaders. We have two people, not one. We don't even know who our president is right now. Who is our president right now? We really don't know.
Joe Biden.
We have two people, not one, that only keep looking. And when you do that, when you just look, trouble always ensues. So it's big trouble for our country. Meanwhile, we have the president of Iran in our country this week. We have large security forces guarding him, and yet they're threatening our former president and the leading candidate to become the next president of the United States. Certainly a strange set of circumstances.
And I pointed this out to you yesterday and posted it too. What the hell is going on here? Why are we giving visas to any of these Islamo-Nazi, Iranian regime, genocidal maniacs to come into the United States to go to the UN? Tell me, would Franklin Roosevelt have given visas to any part of the Third Reich or Imperial Japan to come into the United States for any reason? The hell's going on here? More. Cut 17. Go.
As you know, there have been 2 assassination attempts on my life that we know of, and they may or may not involve, but possibly do, Iran. But I don't really know, can't be sure, because in the first case in Butler, Pennsylvania, great place, and we're going back to Butler, by the way. We're going to go back and finish our speech. The FBI has been unable to open the 3 potentially foreign-based apps. And in the second case, the assassin had 6 cell phones in his car, yet the FBI has likewise been unable to penetrate their guard. Shouldn't be tough to do. They want to know, and I want to know, and the whole country and maybe the world wants to know, who is he calling? Who is he calling? In the old days, the FBI and the DOJ used to capture people before anything happened. In current days, the upper echelon of the FBI is all talk while they focus on the sitting president's political opponents. That's what they're doing. They spend so much time. We won the case in Florida. It's all a big scam. It's all against a political opponent, me, who's doing better in the polls than anybody else and should be hopefully able to recapture the presidency in 41 days and make our country great again. But all they focus on is their political opponent. But they must get Apple to open these foreign apps, and they must get Apple to likewise open the...
Does anybody deny that if it wasn't Trump who was the target, let's say it was Obama, God forbid, that these would have been opened long ago, Mr. Producer? If it was Biden, if it was Harris. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I really am not. And I'm not one now either. But this Keystone Cop stuff, you can only take so much of this. At every turn, the wrong thing is done. At every turn, there's a block to getting information. Have we ever had a candidate for president of the United States that in 60 days had 2 assassination attempts against him? And the media go on and they say, we're not responsible. Our effort to dehumanize Trump, what's the big deal? He's Hitler. He's going to destroy our democracy. And they just keep at it and keep at it and keep at it. Do the rest of the media outside of this program and conservative talk radio and Fox and a few other bastions of liberty and Americanism, do they give a damn if this man's assassinated or not? Let us look deeply into our heart and soul and use our noggins. Do they seem to give a damn, ladies and gentlemen? Over at The View, over at MSNBC and CNN, They just pick right up where they left off. And so do their surrogates. And so do the never-Trumpers in the Republican Party. So do all these people. They just pick right up where they left off. I even saw a preposterously stupid, imbecilic piece. After 2 paragraphs, I couldn't read it anymore, by Mona Charen. Remember her? A distant name. Writing at some freakazoid site that if you're Jewish, you should not vote for Donald Trump. What an idiot. What a fool. What do you think Netanyahu thinks? What do you think the people of Israel think? They happen to love Trump. And even though Harris surrounds herself with Islamists, with self-hating Jews, with anti-Israel propagandists, every single damn one of them, even though she's the most radical anti-Israel candidate in American history, just as she's the most radical anti-American candidate in American history. No, don't vote for Donald Trump. There is clearly a psychological sickness among the Democrats who've talked this way, among the never-Trumpers, among the press. It is sick. When we come back, there's a bipartisan Senate report. I want to go through some of the bullets with you, and you're not going to believe this. The Secret Service of the United States. No, not every Secret Service agent. Many of them are so brave. Many of them agree with us, but many of them are Trump supporters. No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about this. You're not going to believe it. But don't worry. No. It's just Keystone Cops time. It's a second time. Oh, the guy was hanging out for 12 hours in the bushes and with his long rifle pointing out. Oh, yeah. Oh, we didn't have the manpower to walk around the golf course, for God's sakes. You got 80-year-old men and women walking around the golf course. Maybe we should deputize them to take a look every now and then.